Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today is a very big and exciting day. Welcome to the launch of the 10th edition of the Municipal Equality Index. The Municipal Equality Index is a partnership between the Equality Federation and the Human Rights Campaign. And this, as I said, is our 10th edition, which is a very exciting thing. So today we'll be talking a little bit about the results from the 2020 MEI, but also about the arc of how things have changed over the course of 10 years in the movement and at the municipal level, and how the MEI has shaped that and informed it and recorded it. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jody Winterhoff, who is the Senior Vice President for Policy and Political Affairs at the Human Rights Campaign.
Kate, thanks so much. And it is remarkable to celebrate the 10th year and 10 editions of this project that has really changed the landscape for efforts to advance municipal equality across the country. I'm so pleased to be here with our Municipal Equality Index team at HRC, the Human Rights Campaign, several of whom have worked on this project for all of those 10 years, and others of whom have become deeply invested in this work more recently. Everyone has worked extremely hard to get this edition of the MEI out into the world, and it is really an exciting product and an exciting day. And I also very much want to thank our colleagues and friends at the Equality Federation for being our national partner and co-sponsor of this project for all 10 editions. And you will be hearing from Fran Hutchins shortly. And I also thank Fran's members across the country who have been so helpful in getting this project across the line for this last decade. As we think about the Equality Index, and what we're up to, I'm a native Iowan, and I know that equality isn't just about people in New York and California. It is about making sure that we are working to improve the laws and the lives for LGBTQ plus people everywhere where they live, which is everywhere. People live in every county in America, every city in America. And so this really is a vision for all of America. One of the special things about the MEI is how deeply it reaches into every state. We get to see the places where we grew up, the places we went to college, the places we've raised our children, the places we've visited, made our homes, visited grandparents and family. We get to see that these places we love sometimes have worked very hard to show us that we're loved right back. LGBTQ plus people are everywhere. And throughout its 10-year history, the Municipal Equality Index has been centered on supporting and celebrating the work municipalities do to serve their LGBTQ plus citizens in the places they call home. This year, statewide lawmakers have zeroed in on attacking transgender and non-binary children for no reason other than in an effort to harm and erase them. Local leaders, however, have continued to move the needle of progress forward. And by doing so, they have spurred economic growth by signaling to residents, visitors, and employees, players that their city is open to everyone. There are a lot of existing statistics to come from this report. And trust me, the team loves the numbers and the stats. But there's one that's my favorite, and here's what it is. 137 cities rated 10 years ago, the first edition of the MEI, and those folks averaged 59 points. Today, those same cities average 85 points. And that one statistic speaks volumes. These cities have come a long way. They have rolled up their sleeves. They have a vision of being inclusive to all of their citizens in their cities. And it's an amazing journey that so many of them have been on, which you will hear about today. Perhaps the MEI cannot claim credit for every single one of those points, but there's no doubt that having a metric where cities are able to measure their progress and see the progress of other cities and peers across the country has helped really galvanize the progress and has galvanized this process around the Municipal Equality Index. Cities can see what their peers have been able to achieve. They can use the MEI as a to-do list to see where there are areas that they can continue to improve. They can connect with the MEI team and their Equality Federation partners to learn more about LGBTQ plus issues and receive assistance in raising their scores. They can demonstrate to their communities that they've taken tangible steps to improve the laws and policies in their municipality. And they may even find there are some economic benefits, as we know that employers like to settle themselves in areas which have demonstrated an interest in being welcoming to diverse communities. After 10 editions, the Municipal Equality Index rating, challenging, guiding, educating, and celebrating, there is 10 years of data to support these efforts. The MEI is not simply a story of a few outlying high performers who continue to improve. That is not the story here. It is a story of sustained transformational growth in cities of every size, in every region, in every corner of this country. We are so proud of this project, which is one of HRC's most used resources, and the many ways in which it has propelled, supported, and celebrated the work of cities and counties across the country who have done much to improve their laws and policies for LGBTQ plus people who live, work, and visit those places. And with that, I'm going to turn it back happily to Kate, and I look forward to hearing from other colleagues on this call. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Jody. And I realized that in my excitement, I neglected to introduce myself. So I will do that quickly before I turn it over to Fran. My name is Catherine Kate Oakley. I am the State Legislative Director and Senior Counsel here at the Human Rights Campaign. I'm also the founding author of the Municipal Equality Index. And so I was delighted to be part of the early editions of this project. I am delighted to be able to be here today celebrating the 10th edition, along with some of my colleagues, including Colin, who you can see, who has really done a tremendous amount of work on this project. And he's really the face and the powerhouse behind it. And so we are all, as I said, very excited to have you here to talk about the 10th edition. And Fran, who is the Executive Director of the Equality Federation Institute, I'm ready to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate. Like Jody, I'm also not from the coasts. I'm from Alabama, and I've been able to see in the Municipal Equality Index cities like Birmingham, where I grew up, improve its score, and Montevallo, where I went to college, improve its score. And so, it's such an amazing tool. And at Equality Federation, we really know the importance of local protections for our community. Equality Federation, we're an advocacy accelerator. We're dedicated to building the power of our network of state-based LGBTQ advocacy organizations. And we are so proud to partner with HRC and to have been partnering with HRC for the last 10 years on the Municipal Equality Index. This is a tool that helps our members and other advocates on the ground and the cities take stock of their progress and advocate for the future policies that are needed, protections that are needed for our community. And, it really helps them mark the essential steps that they need to take to move forward to achieve equality for folks, for LGBTQ people and our families. And, the progress made at the local level, it's what keeps us protected from harms such as housing discrimination, conversion therapy, bullying in the communities that we call home, often in the face of a lack of statewide or federal laws to protect our community. That's why municipal work is so important. In 2021, we had a terrible legislative session. There were so many bills that focused on attacking our community, especially transgender young people, through proposed laws that would exclude them from participating in public life, in school activities, receiving life-saving medical care. And, all of this was happening while we're going through an ongoing pandemic, fighting off direct attacks on our democracy. And so it was a difficult year, but I am so heartened by the progress that the LGBTQ state-based movement has made to keep driving progress forward, especially at the local level. From Arizona to Kentucky to West Virginia, state groups helped secure local non-discrimination ordinances, which brings the number of municipalities that are fully covered by comprehensive non-discrimination protections to over 350 nationwide. A real highlight there is that since North Carolina's statewide ban on non-discrimination ordinances expired in 2020, Equality North Carolina and its partners have helped more than 15 jurisdictions pass local protections. And for the first time ever, cities in Nebraska, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and West Virginia banned the harmful practice of conversion therapy at the local level. So, just so much progress going forward. Another one is that the Fairness Campaign and its local partners in Kentucky helped pass a conversion therapy ban in Lexington, Fayette County, which secured protections for more than 25% of the state's population. And so despite those bills that I was talking about earlier, despite the transgender athlete bans passing in 9 states, despite local, school districts, despite the debates that we're seeing, local school districts across the country are protecting transgender students by passing policies respecting their names, their pronouns, and the use of appropriate facilities. And even though local leaders continue to pave the way forward on equality, there remains an unacceptable patchwork of laws for LGBTQ people across the country. And so despite all of this municipal progress, I really just want to highlight that this reinforces the need for the Equality Act. The Equality Act would provide consistent and explicit non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ plus people across key areas of life, including employment, housing, credit, education, public spaces and services, federally funded programs, and even jury service. And as we look into 2022, we will continue to rise to the challenges that we face toward achieving non-discrimination, nationwide. But we do know that the work of state and local advocates will continue to provide much needed protections for LGBTQ plus people in the place that it matters most, home. Thank you. I'll hand it back over to Kate.
Thank you, Fran. And now we're going to move to a video that we have prepared with some help from some friends of the MEI that tells the story about what we've been doing here over the course of the last 10 years. And so I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to our video team to get the video rolling.
When I saw the score of 55, I think I just wanted to hide underneath my desk.
It was my second day in office, and news had come out that Racine had a very low score in terms of being a welcoming community for the LGBTQ community.
We had never heard of the Human Rights Campaign, I have to admit. An email came through the city manager's office and the mayor's office. They were unsure of exactly what that was or what it meant.
When I first got that score, it showed that we weren't where we wanted to be. I know that our residents are welcoming and accepting of people of all sexual orientations and gender identities. And I want to make sure that our policies reflects that.
When you have a headline that the report reveals that we have a failing grade with our LGBTQ equality, it did get attention. And so the directive was, we need to change the score.
When you look at LGBTQ rights, you might have a lot of these lofty goals, and you're not sure where to start. And the Municipal Equality Index, it's a guidebook.
It really helps me to see sort of like what are the standards of what inclusion should look like for municipal policies.
HRC and the entire MEI team provide technical assistance and resources to make sure that cities can move LGBTQ equality forward, and it also holds cities accountable.
One of the great gifts of the MEI was giving municipal leaders a checklist, really basic, but where are we and what do we need to do and how do we work with our community members to make the biggest impact?
Every point that we've gotten has felt like a home run for the team that has worked on it. I actually have other cities call me to say, we're starting to work on this and we see that you've jumped a big amount in just a short amount of time. It makes me realize we are a leader in the country on this. And I can tell you, growing up here, I never would have thought that.
It felt really good. I mean, the year we went from 41 to 86, it was one of the biggest leaps in the country. It really felt like the work that we'd done to commit to equity in our community was showing up in measurable ways.
The city of Worcester is celebrating another perfect score from the Human Rights Campaign.
A result of being reviewed by the Human Rights Campaign and the MEI, the City of Worcester has reviewed extensively our ordinances. We've created new policy that have addressed employment, benefits.
So creating spaces where folks of color can speak up, working towards making sure the trans community is centered in everything that we do. All of that really helps to build a kind of environment that creates a community that everyone can thrive.
You know, we always want to work with the folks on the ground who are dealing with their struggles. We hear about how young people are particularly adversely impacted. And that groundwork then led to a citywide ban on conversion therapy.
The MEI has had such a major impact on the city of Atlanta for over a decade now, even in recent years, helping us ban the bullying of LGBTQ youth in all city facilities, helping us allocate resources to trans people.
Local leaders at the municipal level were able to step up because they had tools like the MEI available to give them a path to say, the state government may not be willing to act, but you as mayors, as city council members, as township trustees, you can get out there and do things at the local level that will make a real difference in people's lives, and hopefully will also light a fire underneath the folks at the state capitol.
It's great to be a part of a city that is as inclusive as Phoenix has become. Is not only the city take that lead, but corporations around the city do the same.
When we got the score of 100, I was ecstatic.
I cried when I saw the first time that we'd reached 100.
The MEI continues to change year after year, so we can't just sit on our hands and be like, oh, we're good. We have to continue to make improvements.
I want LGBTQ people to know that we are a welcoming and inclusive city. We are open to all, no matter who you are or who you love.
This is a place where we welcome everybody, that we want you to be the best and most loved version of yourself.
It isn't always easy to achieve progress in a conservative state, but it is possible when people come together, when advocates fight hard, and also when political figures are coming forward and saying it is unacceptable to be homophobic and transphobic in this community.
All right, we are at the part of our program where we're going to open this up for reporter questions. I'm Erin Fields, press secretary for the foundation, and so if anyone wants to put